try to review your proposal. I think you have done some good work by contributing and discussing some ideas with the
Mm-hmm.
organization.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so so okay, we will go. I just want to know, where did you take this template? Is it organization template?
Yeah, so I took
And
this template from organization. So all the headers you see here, basic details, motivation are just reference from there. I mean, I can show the
uh,
template if you want, but
yeah, you can quickly see the template and just we will review. So yeah, most of the organization have a very similar template, like
hmm.
the project description, abstract, uh,
So
about section.
here is the proposal template if you can see. So you can see basic details, your motivation. So I just answered all these questions one by one. That's all.
Details, proposed text. So you're like, so let's go step by step. The basic details is fine. I think the motivation you can write according to you.
Hmm.
The project details section, I'm not sure. Like, so your project details mostly come from the idea description.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just put some history and then tell the idea description. Okay, and the problem that which is described in the idea description.
Okay.
So basically, I want to, like, so with project details, the mentors basically want to understand what did you understand the
Hmm.
how much did you understand the idea description. So if you understand the history behind the project
Hmm.
and the problem statement that they have given in idea description point wise, so
Hmm.
it is easy to understand and easy to, like, review. And the if you put some history behind the project, the
Okay.
mentors will understand that you have done some research about the project,
Hmm.
and you understand what is the goal behind that project.
Hmm. Implementing in the project. For example, backend. So I mean, there's always already there's a Spring Boot application already exists. So I need to integrate Spring security with it. So that's why I like put Spring security instead of the whole thing.
Yeah,
This is the
so
delta that will be implemented on top of the project.
yeah, so the front end is not there, right? You want
Yep.
to build from scratch using React JS and Redux, and backend is there with Spring Boot. I think Spring
Yep.
Security. So you just mentioned the backend is in this technology like Spring, and how it works and how you want to integrate with front end. So if you say you want to do the front end implementation part in React JS, then the question arises is like, why you choose React JS, why not Angular, why not uh,
View.
yeah, any other technology. So you give some context, like you
Okay.
understand the React better and you think like Angular and React are best candidate, but you choose the
Mm-hmm.
React JS, and this is the my reason to choose React JS. You should write some subsections, subheaders.
Okay.
That is better. So like the project details. Okay, under project details you write the abstract. Okay, the idea description, the problem statement. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and the proposal, your proposal, like how you want to solve this problem. So like so you can see like table of contents. So if you write the whole subsections and headers correctly,
Mm-hmm.
there is simple way to generate the table of contents, right? So you can search in Google how to do these things, like h1 header and then under subheaders with h2 headers and so on.
Okay.
So uh, so some of the sections are mostly common in all the organizations. So if you
Mm-hmm.
see the project, in the projects under the project, okay,
Mm-hmm.
in left sidebar, the project, I have written some subsections like brief overview about the project, the idea behind this whole GSoC project,
Mm-hmm.
and the main intention, what we want to achieve after this GSoC period. So this should be very, very clear, right? So yeah. So like your brief overview about the problem statement in your words, okay, and the intention about the project, and
Hmm.
basically you just have to show what did you understand about with the idea
And
description
what I
and what
intend
you
to
want
do.
to achieve.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, and once you are written this thing, then you can write the your plan, how you want to execute and how you want to solve this problem statement,
Hmm.
right? So the better is you just divide the whole project in some task list, right? In last video I talked the same, right? So the whole project you have to create some task, right?
Hmm.
We have to do this task first and then we will move to this task and so on, and each sub task have might have some subtasks also. So the plan should be according to that,
Hmm.
right? So your proposal, if we open it,
Okay. Just yeah. Yep.
okay, so here you have just written the project description, right, which is very similar to the idea description. Instead of that, you can just rephrase, and the main highlighting points and the problem statement you can write clearly what is your intention and what you want to achieve in this use of coding period. Okay, so
Okay.
once you wrote down all these things and what you want to achieve in this use of period.
Okay.
Okay, once you write down all these things, then you can write the plan, the project plan. So under this project description, you can write like overview about the project, the history behind the project, and your
Okay.
intention, and then the plan for your the actual your plan, right? How you want to execute your plan, what is your plan, and then how you want to execute.
Okay.
So the plan basically how you are planning to approach to the problem statement and
Different
how you want to solve.
sub problems and stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yes. Right. So let's quickly understand this problem. The idea description. Can you just tell me about this project?
Yeah, sure. So, so this is the project I'm targeting, and it's a simple like content management system with in-memory caching in place, and it's a Spring Boot application. And as part of the problem statement, like the student is required to build the complete front end to end in any library. So as I am proficient in React, so I chose React for it. And other than that, there's one more problem set. So there will be like multiple roles for the application. That's why Spring Security needed to be integrated. And the roles include the creator, a general user, and an admin. So an admin should be able to view critical metrics such as disk usage, memory usage, and all the like hardware related stuff. Creator should be able to like perform simple CRUD operations like deleting a resource, viewing a resource, editing a resource, and a general purpose user should just like just view the resources and chill. That's all. So these are the three main roles for this project. Other part of problem statement is a monitoring system needs to be integrated into the Kubernetes cluster, and that's how we'll be getting the all the hardware related all the server related metrics that will be shown to the admin on our React dashboard. So that was the gist of the problem statement.
Okay, so in the front end side, we will be having multiple roles, and according to roles, they will see the buttons and the
Yep.
pages,
Different functionality
right?
as per the rules.
And this as per the rules, right? And what about the Docker and Kubernetes? What you are talking about? Monitoring system?
Yeah. So they have deployed this application into a micro Kubernetes cluster, and I'm supposed to like set up a monitoring system like Prometheus in it to get the metrics.
Yeah, okay, okay. So this idea looks very clear, but we still have to understand what are the REST APIs is exposed in backend side and what we want to use in the front end side. So there are like you can write many things like since this is from scratch, you can in your proposal I don't see much contents, right? The plan and what you want to do in during the GSOC. So
Maybe
what
like
you
I will
can
like put a bit of documentation about all the REST endpoints and maybe about the role-based functionality what I intend to build as per the roles.
yes, exactly. So let's say you have written some project details, right? So
Hmm.
now if you are thinking, let's say you said you talked to me about the role-based front end, right?
Hmm.
So very simple idea will be how you want to implement this role based UI,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So multiple different users, how the according to roles, how it will redirect to different pages. So when someone in different role, how they will be able to see different pages in the UI, what you want to implement and how you want to implement and your approach. You can also write about the React, how React is very much modular and the role-based feature is role-based login is um, it can be implemented in modular way. So
Hmm.
that like if there is new user comes into picture, you don't have to write so much code. You just have to add one new user, and for that you have to write React widgets or something
Yes,
components,
yes,
right?
yes.
So that
Component.
thing like you write about the role and how it is modular. So in if in future you have to remove one user, then you don't have to change much.
Hmm.
You just have to remove that user from the routes, right? And if you want
Yep.
to add new user, then it should be simple. So that those things like those things are catchy and makes much sense, and it shows you that you have good understanding about the whole software development life cycle. So this is
Hmm.
the one thing, this is one simple example, and you also talked about the monitoring system. So you can have so you can write this whole section in subsections, right, and
Yeah,
just
yeah.
discuss your approach. So about the monitoring system, you have to understand what are the logging systems there in the backend side.
Hmm. So there are just like application logs, that's all.
Yeah, so in which format it is logging, and the format should be seen in Splunk or Prometheus or
So that's why like I propose to set up micrometer so that the logs will become Prometheus compatible. And after they become like you can feed the logs in Prometheus. I mean, it should not be difficult to extract the metrics and show it anywhere you want using REST endpoints.
yeah, this kind of diagram helps. So instead of writing so much text, it is better to write the diagram, what we call. So yeah, so you can see, right, student projects announced on
Mm.
17th of May, and then community bonding period from 17th of May to 7th of
Mm.
June, right? And if you scroll down, you will see right here you see coding period from 7th of June to 16th of August, and then
Okay.
the evaluation the 12th of July to 16th of July, and that's
Mm.
it. This is the final evaluation, I think. So code submission, okay, right.
Mm.
Mm, okay, so there is one evaluation in 12th of July and then 16th of July. So there is only two evaluation this time. Previously you
Yes,
used to
yes.
have three, right? So what I was saying is the timeline, about the timeline. So the project projects announced, right? Whoever students, whoever selected, they will see their projects in the GSoC dashboard, GSoC project list of this year. And then there is community bonding. So this is mostly to familiar with the organization, team members, and okay. So mostly about the getting familiar with the organization and the
Mm.
developers and the
So can you like
finalize.
one question? So like can you like start coding during this period, community bonding period? I mean,
Yeah, you can. So
coincident.
you can
It
actually.
will like ultimately give you more time. So I thought. I mean, just a
Yes, yes,
question.
exactly. Yes, exactly. So this is what I wanted to share. So if you are already communicating with the mentors and the developers, that means you are already familiar with the organization. So
Hmm.
what you can do in your timeline, you can add community bonding, 17th of May to 7th of June, right?
Okay.
So you put this as a like you can put this and write some write write that you are already familiar with the organization. You have already discussed your project ideas with the mentors. You will just finalize the project plan
Hmm.
and the final proposal basically.
Okay.
So in the timeline section you can write this.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, good point.
Even I started working on it in community bonding and
Okay.
do around 20 to 30% task in community bonding period itself. So it is if you start early, if you will finish early, right? You have more time to refactoring and documentation thing.
Yep, yep, for
uh,
sure.
Otherwise you will end up writing so much code and there is no documentation. That means no one will read it, no
Hmm.
one will understand what this code is doing. So there is not much use, and the later on if next year this project will continue, student will struggle to understand it.
Yeah, makes
So
sense.
right, so while you code you write documentation. So like in week one you want to do task 1 2 3, then you just put one task as well, right? Writing documentation about this and writing blog post.
Okay.
So you try to write it down what you are doing every week.
Hmm.
So so every week you can also mention that you will be writing blog posts and writing documentation and the basically the report kind of thing what you did in week one.
Okay.
You can use any platform, WordPress, Medium, or anything. But yeah,
Hmm.
at the end you just have to show what you did in each week. So you
Hmm.
can write it down in your timeline as well. And the evaluation part, okay. So in by first evaluation what you want to complete and the second evaluation what you want to complete. So those
Hmm.
things you have to just divide in a whole timeline.
Okay. So it's written July 12 to 16. I mean,
So that is evolution. So you just have to write, you just have to log in into your dashboard and write some feedback, not actual feedback, but yeah, kind of some
okay,
questions will be
it's
there.
more
So
of peer review kind of thing.
yeah, how was your experience or something like that. So that
Okay.
is kind of evaluation, and but the final evaluation anyways will mentors will be giving you. So
Hmm.
mentors will tell that you have done around 50 to 70% task. So and hopefully in next couple of weeks you will complete it 100%. So if that's the case, then they will pass you. Otherwise they will fail you if they find that you are not reachable or not collaborative, you are
Hmm.
not completing the task, right? So they will fail you and then your journey will be
Over.
in there. Yeah, so then you will not be part of the GSoC in next phase. So this kind of things you have to take care. Every time they focus on the GSoC time coding period, which is good. But what
Okay.
you will do after the GSoC coding period? So mentors and open source community expect that student will continue contributing, right?
Okay.
So you have to understand their expectations, right? So the most of the open source community want their student to be with the community and help others new contributors. So you can
Hmm.
have some other sections also, right? So you can write what after GSoC, your plan after GSoC. If
So like,
there is some to do task, then
can
what,
you suggest
how.
some generic, I mean, stuff people do after GSoC people are
So
supposed to?
like in the timeline, in timeline will be H1 header, right? The week
Hmm.
1 to 3 is S3
Hmm.
or S2 header. Then you can write one more sections like after GSoC coding period.
Hmm.
Okay, and so in that section you will write it down what is your plan after the GSoC. You are passionate about this project and you want to complete any tasks if it is not done during the GSoC. coding period. If you're
Okay.
stuck somewhere, then how you want to complete it.
Hmm.
So this is open source, right? You can do anytime. This is free of
Exactly.
cost, right? So you can do anytime. So that means you can do after GSoC also. So if you're stuck somewhere, you have to make sure you will complete it. If you
Hmm.
complete it, then so think like this project is on you, on your shoulders, on your
Yep, yep.
shoulder, right? So you have to
Like
complete
taking
it.
the responsibility of project and stuff.
Yes, yes. If you didn't complete the task, or if you find that this thing is not implemented and this will take time, and
Okay. Or some
you are
another idea that you want to implement in the.
yes, yes, yes. So what happens is we write some proposal, then what happens, we when we work on it, we get more ideas and better ideas. We
Exactly. Yep.
discuss to mentors, we come out with new idea, right? And your whole proposal will be very much different than the initial stage. So when you do that, then there will be chances that you end up not completing the whole project, but there were better
Hmm.
but the whole project in better stage, and then that can be continued in next year GSoC, or maybe after the
Hmm.
GSoC you complete some of the tasks, right? So after the GSoC, what is your plan? What you want to do after the GSoC coding period? You want to continue the contribution and help the new contributors to
So maybe like
understand this
if I
project.
get some idea like post GSoC period, I can mention in the.
So your project plan, your each week is already divided in
Yeah, yeah, that is there. Yeah.
divided, right? So if you get some new idea, you complete it during the GSoC period. If not, then uh, you will write it down in your blog post, right? So
Hmm.
blog post, or they have their own forum or Google groups to discuss it. So this kind of thinking you should be having after the GSoC,
Okay.
so you can write it down
That is
accordingly,
maintaining the
right?
repo. I mean, for
Yeah, basically maintaining the repo, helping new contributors,
for instance, like I will be
helping
for instance, I'll be
help.
creating a new repository for front end. Maybe like I can tell them that I'll be maintaining it
Yes,
also throughout the year.
exactly. So yeah, so you will be creating new repository, whole new repository. So you will be maintainer for it, right? If new contributors or new issue came into picture, then you will give response to the new open issue. If someone opened the new PR, then you will review it, and you know merging the PR if you got the privileges, right? So these kind of things you can write in after GSoC.
Okay.
What is your plan, right? And if you have any to-do list, how you want to execute, right? So these kind of things, kind of things are not mandatory. This is optional field, but
It's
you
always good
know,
to have. I mean, showing your interest in.
yeah, yeah. So that will make your proposal better than others. So if it is not open source, then you can write it about your corporate career. If it is open source, then you can write it, you can show you can mention the project link,
Okay.
and what is the whole project, and what did you do, and
Hmm.
how you are maintaining all those things, right? So let's say you give the block diagram, the overview, how the backend talk to front end, if there is any database, how it talks to uh, how they are interconnected, right? So
Yeah.
if you write it down your block diagram correctly, so
Hmm.
one diagram could be overview, how backend will talk to front end, and then if you are writing about role based UI, so if there are three roles, how they will route to different pages,
Hmm. Hmm.
those diagram. And then if you're writing about monitoring tools, then you can say the logging is happening here, and using this Kubernetes object, um, we will show the whole logging part in this UI. So kind of things, right? So you can write it on some block diagram and make it point wise, so that's fine.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, also about your, I don't see any contribution, open source community contribution section in your proposal.
I mean, I don't have much. So these are the ones that I have. That's all.
So I think you started opening some issue, right?
Okay, you're talking about this organization. I mean, this project.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, so I think a PR got merged today.
Yeah. So whatever issues you opened, whatever
Hmm.
discussion you did, you have
I
to
should
mention
mention
that
that.
in a
Oh,
yes,
okay.
right? In and you have to show that you have enough discussions for this idea,
Hmm.
right? You have some PR merged also. So those things you have to mention
Okay.
because those are the main points actually. Those are the plus points.
So I have one question. So these are like some of the issues I want. So you can see there are some like more issues on top of it, and that they those are opened by the maintainer of this repo. So should I like try to fix them or what do?
No, whatever issues you open, whatever discussions you are doing,
Okay, okay,
you
okay.
have to mention in that. So let's say you are talking about the monitoring system project plan, right? So you
Hmm.
mentioned that you have already opened the started discussing about this here in this issue, right? You got some conclusion and this, and if you are doing some demo or draft thing, if you are doing some kind of prototype like monitoring system, you are playing with Kubernetes and Kubernetes object and Prometheus, right? So you can, if you are doing some kind of prototyping, you just open source in your GitHub repository, right? And show them this will work and this is working, my prototype is working, so we will integrate similarly in this project. So kind of thing, so that will be very attractive to mentors. So
So
instead
this
of
is
writing
like
so much
this
things,
is I mean before GSoC thing you were telling.
yeah, right. So let's say you don't have much time, then you can discuss that with mentors in email also. But yeah, if you have done any kind of prototype, you just open source it and put in your
Okay.
GitHub your GitHub repository, right? And then show them like this is my approach and this is working. The prototype is working. So similarly, I want to integrate it in the CMS project, right? So
Okay.
this is
Okay.
our monitoring system. And if you are talking about role-based system, then you can create simple login kind of page or some kind of routing, React routing, and show them like
Hmm.
you have very modular you have very modular way and you have already done this kind of things in my previous project,
Hmm.
so I want to integrate the similar thing in this project as well.
Or maybe like I can
And
like take references from the projects I've done before and like features
yeah,
wise and tell
that's
them that this is where I implemented security, this is where I implemented routes and stuff.
yeah, you can do that if that is open source. If it is not, then you can create a very
Okay.
simple application like simple routing page or simple role based thing, right? And put in your GitHub profile and show them, yeah, this is
Sure,
how
sure.
I want to implement, this is my approach. So instead of talking so much, you just show them code and working.
Hmm.
So that will impress the mentors. So similarly, other tasks, subtasks also. So if there is any other task, you just write it down step by step. You show them this is my approach and this is how I tried. And similarly, you want to do this. If you stuck somewhere, then you just mention that to mentors like I am stuck here, I am working on it. So that is completely fine. You are not perfect, no one is perfect. So with the time you will understand how to solve that. You will find the answer and you will do it.
Okay.
If you share early, then you will get the reviews early. If you get the reviews early, you will make the um,
Proposal better.
changes early, right? The iteration will be faster, right?
Okay.
So even though you are, so try to make it complete as soon as possible and then submit in the GSoC dashboard. You
Hmm.
have to log in and just you have to put your proposal there, right?
Hmm.
So what students do does it right? They add the proposal in GSoC dashboard and then they forget for around 1 month.
Hmm.
So they will wait for the
Results.
acceptance, right? So before acceptance, if they work hard, like they show the constant interest in the project, they will surely
Hmm.
get selected. So instead of like even though you uploaded the proposals, you just talk to mentors, talk to mentors about your approach. What if there is any improvement you can do? If you get some new idea and you didn't add in your proposal, you just mention that I have new idea and I have did the prototype
Okay,
here,
okay.
right? So that those things you can do any time, but before that you just complete the draft version first.